I'm Julie. This is a general biology podcast about energy. Okay, so what is energy? So let me get my pen here and color. Okay, a good energy color. So what is energy? The ability to do work. So one of the properties of life has to do with energy processing. So something that's alive can assimilate and use energy. So types of energy that we're familiar with. One is potential energy and the other is kinetic energy. So which one is potential and which one's kinetic? So let's say for an example that you're going skiing. So you take a ride up on a ski lift to the top of a mountain. You're using kinetic energy to get up to the top. Once you're up to the top of the mountain, you have potential energy. Your stored energy. So that's what potential energy is. It's stored energy that can do work. So once you take off from the top of the mountain, then you have kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is the energy of movement. Okay, another example. So our hummingbird. So the flower has sugar. The sugar is stored potential energy. And that energy can be used by the hummingbird for kinetic energy, the energy of movement, to be able to move those wings so fast that it can hover in one place above that flower. Okay. So let's see. We have 5 different forms of energy. So 5 forms. One is radiant energy. And that's light energy. And an example is the light energy from the sun. That energy is captured by plants to make sugar in the process called photosynthesis. Okay, so 2, we've got chemical energy. So an example would be the sugar we were just talking about in the flower. And that is potential. So these forms of energy can be either potential energy or kinetic energy. In this case, chemical energy is potential energy. Okay. 3, we've got mechanical energy. So the skier up at the top of the mountain, or the skier skiing down the mountain, that's mechanical energy. She's using mechanical energy. The motion of the skier is mechanical energy. Or it can also be, besides the skier, it can also be the motion of atoms, and the motion of electrons. Okay, so the energy of motion. Okay, 4. How about electrical energy? So there's potential energy in the attraction of opposite charges. So a negative and a positive charge, two charges that are oppositely attract. There's an attraction there, and there's potential energy there, and it's called electrical energy. Okay, and number 5, we've got nuclear energy. Nuclear fusion is an example in the sun. And that's where hydrogen in the sun actually combines with another hydrogen molecule to form a whole new molecule of helium. And energy is given off. Energy in the form of radiant energy, or another term for that is electromagnetic radiation. Okay. Okay, so what does this have to do with life? So the energy in each form can be transformed. So we're going to talk about oops, let me get my pen, thermodynamics. Thermodynamics, and that is the study of energy and the transfer of energy. Okay, for example, so in this picture right here, we have, so we just talked about nuclear energy. So in the sun, there's nuclear energy. There's energy coming from those hydrogen atoms coming together to form helium and giving off electromagnetic radiation or radiant energy. So that energy then comes down to the earth, actually a really small fraction of it comes down to the earth, and plants can use that energy to form glucose. So the energy is being transferred from the sun, from radiant energy into chemical energy of the plant. So the plant can use that. The plant can then transfer that chemical energy to kinetic energy, the energy of movement, to grow and to respond to the environment. Or animals can come along and use that energy as well. We can eat plants. So here we are, or ice cream cones. And so the chemical energy in here can then be used by animals. Or excuse me, did I say that right? The chemical energy, chemical energy can then be used by animals as well for motion, kinetic energy. Okay. So we know that potential energy can be transformed. Potential energy can be transformed to kinetic energy. We know that another example would be, let's see, a light bulb. So the electric and chemical energy of the light bulb and chemical energy of the light bulb can be transformed into light and heat. Okay, so that's an introduction to energy, talking about potential energy, kinetic energy, and 5 different types of energy. And we're going to talk a lot more about all those types of energy. Okay, I hope you found that interesting. Thank you.